For context, about 5 years ago, my mom came across a message from a woman claiming my father is the baby daddy to her 3-year-old daughter, and compared photos of her and I when I was around that age to show that we looked alike, however dismissed getting any DNA tests after my father got incarcerated. Now I, 17F, and my mom recently came across a message tonight from the same woman again claiming my father is the baby daddy to her now 8-year-old daughter. Now that her daughter is older, she has started questioning who her real father is. Now, this is the part that has me a bit skeptical. Her daughter has the same skin color as my dad, however every other feature is completely different. My dad has hazel almost vibrant green eyes, while the mother has bright blue. My mother also has bright blue eyes, and my mother and father's genes resulted in central heterochromia in my eyes. This child has pitch black eyes. Usually brown eyes are the dominant gene to blue eyes, so how did pitch black eyes suddenly appear on my dad's side of the family? Their eyes are all very vibrant green or grey. Not only do the eyes get me, but the nose shape on both my dad and eyes are the same. However, this woman's daughter has a completely different nose shape. This lady is basically convinced that my father is her baby daddy, and even said tonight if my father wasn't willing to give a DNA test, asked if I would be willing to give a DNA test, yet has not even told us her name. I'm torn in between a decision, but my father is actively in my life and I know that if he knew he had another child, he would also try to be in this child's life. Only thing is, she lives 2 states away. Getting a DNA test done would do what? Get child support? She's financially stable with a husband and 2 other kids, so why now is she reaching out after 5 years? Reassurance is real and I 100% support it, however in that big time gap, what was the mother telling her daughter? With all of that in consideration, I told her I wouldn't be comfortable giving a DNA sample. She told my mother that we're ruining her daughter's life by not allowing her to know her real father, however I just can't believe her, as if this was my father's child. Why didn't she reach out sooner? I'm not sure anymore. I just feel like an ass, but my gut just tells me something fishy is going on. So, comment 1. Just wanted to say you are significantly misinformed about how genes work, so don't base your opinion on how this child looks at all. Main thing, you're a child, block this woman. I'm sorry about her child, but you don't need to be involved in this at all regardless of what your thoughts are on the matter. Comment 2. NTA. I am sorry you have been put in this position. You are under no legal or ethical obligation to give anyone your DNA, unless you are required by law. This is not your business and I would not feel bad whatsoever in your shoes. That woman should know better. She can petition a judge to get your father's DNA if she is convinced her child is his. Does your dad have anything to say about this? Comment 3. NTA. It's not your problem or concern if she can't get a DNA test from your dad. She and whomever she had the child with created the issue, so if she feels your dad is the father, then she can get a DNA test from him. You shouldn't have to be put in a position where you have to give up your DNA. Story 2, telling my wife that I don't believe her late dad was trained by the British Secret Service as an assassin at 15 years old. My wife's father passed away 2 years ago. He emigrated from England to Australia at age 18, met his wife and had 9 kids. I would describe his life as less than mediocre. He never held down a stable job, spending most of his life unemployed. He only ate meat pies and drank Pepsi and smoked a lot and eventually died from health problems related to refusing to do proper dialysis. He never talked much and spent most of his life sitting outside, drinking Pepsi, smoking and reading pulp novels or watching British TV. Although his kids loved him and he spent time with them and taking care of them, for example he would build toys for them, I have heard them talk about him not being available as a dad and having issues. Over half his kids have moderate to severe mental health issues, with 2 having paranoias and delusions caused by heavy drug use. His widow and most of the children subscribe to a lot of conspiracy theories, for example around COVID, chemicals, government interference etc. His widow is also writing a family history and described to me that she gets impressions from God as to what to write since she can't remember everything. After he died, The story came out from his wife that he was actually trained as an assassin by the Secret Service in England at age 15, related to the Cold War, and he had actually killed people. This was why he had mental health issues that caused him to have all his other issues. All his kids believe this story and they have taken great comfort in this explanation for why he was the way he was. However, I think it is BS. I think the story is totally implausible. And I told my wife so. I tried to do it gently while still respecting her belief in the story. For example, I said I understood why she believed it and respected her decision to believe it. However, because I said I still don't believe it, she got upset and accused me of calling her dad is a liar. The problem is that we are just being told what the wife said he said. There is not a shred of real evidence that he was pulled out of school in England at age 15 and killed people as an assassin for the British Secret Service. It really bothers me because it feels like it rewrites parts of his life in a way that gives him an explanation or a pass for things that were painful for his children or never really dealt with. Am I the asshole for saying I don't believe it, or should I have kept my mouth shut? Edit. I was directly asked if I believed it. Up until then I kept my mouth shut. Comment 1. This situation, it really doesn't matter if the story is true or not. It gives comfort to a family that had to manage their issues and his for a long time, regardless of how out there the story may seem. So very light YTA, especially since it doesn't seem like she outright asked if you believe it. Comment 2. NTA, this one is a little too nuts to just accept uncritically. Especially when you consider all the other nutty beliefs the family subscribed to. Remember that the biggest predictor of if someone will believe a given conspiracy theory is if they already believe in other ones. If you are going to have kids, you might want to start having more discussion about what you will tell them regarding the beliefs of your wife's side of the family. Comment 3. NTA for not believing that insane story, but soft YTA for telling your wife if she didn't ask you if you believe it. What was the point? No one takes kindly to people insulting loved family. I'd recommend you just drop it unless she asks you specifically, and even then just softly say you're sure the story comes from something, but it would be classified, so there is no way to know the full story, or some other way to skirt around it. Story 3, telling my grandma she can't wear blue at my wedding? My 24F fiancé, 25M, are getting married in June and we've invited our families, obviously. The colors we chose are light blue, tan, and navy blue. For a little bit of context, my parents went through a horrible divorce when I was 13. My dad's mom, the grandma I'm talking about, was very hateful to my mom and just outright disrespectful to her, so I'm not her biggest fan. She's always gone against the rules and done whatever she's wanted to with no repercussions. She enables my dad, who is an addict, and she knows it's wrong, not important, but just trying to set the scene. It's a little awkward going to family gatherings on my dad's side because I feel like the black sheep of the family. My sister, 33F, is my half-sister on my dad's side. We've become closer through the years. My grandma called me about 2 p.m. today and we talked about wedding stuff, and she asked me what I wanted her to wear. I told her I wasn't picky, just no white and no light blue. Later today, my sister and my grandma went to JCPenney to shop. My sister found a dress she loved. It's also important to note my sister is a bridesmaid in my wedding. They are wearing light blue. My grandma sees the dress and loves it as well, saying it would be perfect for the wedding. However, she meant for herself. Not for my sister. My grandma bought a light blue, almost white, dress to wear to our wedding. My sister told me about it, as she thought my grandma had bought the dress for her and didn't realize that she bought it for herself. My sister is not the brightest bulb in the box, and my grandma picked the dress when my sister walked away from it because it was too expensive for her to buy for herself. I know this is my grandma, it's not that deep, but it does upset me she chose a color I specifically asked her to not wear at my wedding party is wearing that color. Since she has a habit of going against the rules and wearing whatever she wants, this doesn't surprise me. We have recently thought she has been having some memory problems, but I'm not sure. I haven't confronted her yet, but I plan to. I just don't know if I'm being in a hole by confronting her. Comment 1. I mean, The odds of someone thinking a grandma is a member of the bridal party of a 24-year-old will quickly be dispelled as soon as the wedding starts, when she's not standing with the bridal party during the procession. And any time anyone breaks the rules with their choice of wedding attire, they always end up looking foolish. Did you actually give people color swatches in the invitations so they won't come close to wearing your colors? This sounds like such a minor blip to worry about. YTA. Comment 2. Couples taking rules about wedding attire to this degree grinds my ass. Normalize not designing weddings to be Instagram perfect. No one is going to confuse grandma with a bridesmaid. Rise above this and don't let her get to you. She disobeys rules for the reaction. Don't give her one. YTA. Comment 3. NTA for calmly bringing it up and asking her to return the dress and find something else, but I'd say this isn't a hill to die on. You already know she thrives on being difficult, so if she wants to fight it, just let it go. Focus on the joyful aspects of your wedding. At the end of the day, she's your grandma. No one's going to mistake her for the bride or a bridesmaid, and she's just going to look silly for wearing the wedding colors. Story 4. If I charge my GF 1K for rent while I pay 2K plus? My GF, 26, and I, 28, have been dating for 2 years. Now we would like to move in. We are currently in SoCal and living expenses is high out here. The amount that we're seeing for rent is about $1,800 to $2,500. I don't mind paying about $2,000 while my GF helps with at least $1,000 or so for food, rent and utilities. Now she's overreacting and saying how she doesn't want to have the pressure of studying and going to school, so she doesn't want to give the $1,000. Maybe $500? Regardless, am I the a-hole for charging her? She's saying that other people are supporting their GF without the pressure of bringing cash home. Further information: I got my career going and she is going to school for nursing. Update: people are asking the same questions. She is in school for nursing. Income is weird since she is per diem. She takes shifts at a nursing home based on availability. We discussed and she's willing to provide $400 to $800. Not 1K that I rounded up. She will work maybe 1 or 2 shifts per week or every other week. Depends on class schedules. I am not in school anymore, I can afford to cover/provide for her. That way she can just focus on studies and we can reap the rewards later after she finishes. I think this is the right move. I just wanted people's insights on the situation. I mean, of course I will provide for my wife/fiancé, but we are not engaged yet. We are BF/GF, but we're in it for the long haul. Comment 1. Nah. It sounds fairly reasonable to me. You are offering to pay the majority because you earn more. But I don't think it is a move for her to say that she can't move from free accommodation to paying you that amount, as it would add pressure for her to earn money alongside her nursing training. However, if you can't afford to pay the full rent, and she doesn't want to contribute, then she'll need to stay where she is currently living until she qualifies. So you'll both need to decide what works for you. Comment 2. Nah, it's totally reasonable for you to want to split expenses, but dude, if she can't afford it, she can't afford it. She's currently in school, and it sounds like living at home? Just wait till she graduates and gets a job to move in together. Frame it as needing to know you are both fully committed and have skin in the game. Comment 3. A long time ago in a galaxy far away, my GF was in grad school. She worked and had money, but I made more. We got a place that was $1,600 rent, probably $3,000-ish in today's money. I paid $1,000, she paid $600. No big deal. Proportionally, we were paying about the same percent of our income for rent. And we both benefited in the sense we got to live in a really nice place for cheaper than either of us could have on our own. For those saying it has to be 50-50 or OP is being taken advantage of, life isn't always so black and white. As long as he understands it's a GF, not a fiancé, and she could split at any time, whatever. NTA. Extra, telling my ex-husband his newest children are nothing to me and my extended family. My ex-husband and I share custody of our 2 children, 12 and 10. Our marriage ended in a way that caused a lot of conflict and resentment. He turned somewhat emotionally abusive when he told me he was done, and he said he found me disgusting and repulsive and that he had wanted to cheat so many times because why the thought of sticking it in me made him want to puke. He'd been off for a little while prior to that, but the outburst was unexpected. It was unsettling because he'd brushed off his off mood as work stress and then he just unleashed all that stuff onto me. He later confessed to cheating twice. Any hope for us to be friendly after the divorce ended with how he ended things. My family all hate him for how he spoke to me, but the kids don't know. I never wanted to drag them into this, and once he wasn't treating them the same way, I was happy they weren't mixed up in everything. After a couple of years, my ex-husband tried to act like nothing bad had gone down, but I put some firm boundaries in place. I don't answer social calls or texts and eventually got a co-parenting app in place to make communication better. I still can't block him, but it means I don't need to respond via text at all. He attempted to act all buddy-buddy when his new wife was expecting their first child together, and he even tried to suggest my extended family could come to the baby shower. None of them were ever going to go, and I certainly wasn't. But he's had this weird expectation for a while. This bubbled over recently when we were attending a meeting with our youngest child's teacher. My ex-husband complained that my parents had seen him, his wife and all the kids in public, but hugged ours and kept things distant with him, his wife and their children together. He said they were already walking away, but one of his younger kids wanted a hug. He said they never make the effort to be in his younger kids' lives, and he complained that I never make the effort either. He said we're all one family in some way or another. This is where I might have been in a hole because I told him his newest children are nothing to me and my extended family. That yes, they are the half-siblings of my kids, but that I am not their aunt or their kinda mom figure or their family friend. I told him he destroyed any chance for friendship with how he treated me, and my family wasn't going to forget it either. We didn't talk again about it during the meeting or after. I left immediately. But my ex-husband has texted repeatedly since then telling me how wrong it is to consider his children nothing and how our kids must be picking up on it because they treat each other better than the younger kids. That was the first I heard of it. But the repeated texts have gone unanswered by me. But I can see where I may have been wrong to say that.